Order the meeting of the Fitchburg Board of Public Works for November 21st, 2022, held at City Hall in the Francis Huntley Cooper Council Chambers. Attending tonight, we have Alder Wheeler, Michael Gronetsky, myself, and Dave Wilborn. And also Mr. Bill Balke is here along with us. Public appearances for non-agenda items. I don't see anyone called in, so all right. Then I will entertain a motion for approval of the October 17th meeting minutes.
Motion to approve.
Moved by Gronetsky. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Wilborn. Discussion. Corrections, changes. They look good to me. All right. Call the vote. All in favor of the approval of the October 17th, 2022 Fitchburg Board of Public Works meeting minutes signify by saying aye. Aye. Meeting minutes are approved. Next, agenda item 4, report from the department head, Mr. Bill Balke. Fresh from vacation.
Fresh from vacation, yes. Still relaxed. Yeah, we've been keeping HR pretty busy recently with our staffing requests. We have a project engineer and now a second project engineer open. So we have 2 project engineers that are open and being advertised for. And then we have the Assistant Director of Public Works and the Public Works Director also open. We are holding interviews this week. No, it's next week for the Director of Public Works position. So we've got 5 candidates that are going to be interviewed with. And then they'll take some time to meet the staff for some follow-up interview. The engineering technician position that we have open, that one as well, we've got a strong candidate for, and we'll be coming in for a second interview tomorrow to meet the staff and go from there. So we do have open our lead worker positions that were approved by council. We are accepting applications internal for the next week, and we'll see who applies for that. And there might be some changes with staffing that we might have to advertise for the either a lead worker or the maintenance worker that was approved by council for the utility maintenance worker. So we've got lots of positions open and some changes that are forthcoming in the department. As far as the session planning goes, we have Paul Woodard here, the previous Director of Public Works from 1998 through 2013. So he's helping us out 3 to 4 days a week, and we'll transition the new director in for the next 3-4 months, whatever timeline becomes available for the new director to come in. The new director will make the appointment or the selection of the Assistant Director of Public Works when they come, and we'll probably be in the hiring process for the 2 project engineers as well. We have not had any applicants for the project engineer that we've had out for a couple of months now. We've had 1 applicant, but as far as that goes, we haven't had any applications. So if you know some engineers who would like to work in the municipal environment as a project engineer, we'll have 2 positions open for that.
We'll ask around.
Bill, who's running transit right now?
That's me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So will that be a separate position?
No, that will either be absorbed within the assistant director position or one of the project engineers.
Okay, thank you.
Jim?
So, Bill, what projects will be delayed, or will there be any delay due to the fact that we don't have enough people to actually oversee these things?
Yes, that's a good question. I just found out about the second engineer leaving today. So we're sitting down on Monday when he gets back to discuss how we're going to handle those projects. It might be a combination of delay or consulting. But we'll try to get what we can done in a reasonable time frame this year and not overtax anybody.
We have an environmental engineer. He's still here, right?
Yes, we have an environmental and a part-time environmental.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we're all taken care of in the environmental engineering part.
All right.
That's just the transportation and project engineers that we're trying to fill everything up.
Well, thank you for keeping the faith. We will get through. It's difficult, people watching, please have some patience, with us. We're going through a transition, and never easy. Bill's been through a number of transitions in his life, and we will get through this one too. But it's going to take some time, and as Jim indicated, some things probably are going to have to be put on the side here until we get staffed up and have a plan again. All right. Anything else, Bill? It looks like, our plows were out, or I saw trucks going out, so it looks like.
Yeah, I think we went out and did a little bit of plowing and salting recently with the recent snowfall. Haven't heard any complaints or concerns, but if you do have those concerns, please, voice them and let me know about them. So we're always looking to improve our services to the public.
I have a question for you, Bill. Did anybody ever turn themselves in for driving through my yard and the neighbors? There was 2 cars the other night.
I didn't hear about that one.
The police come to my door to tell me about it.
All right.
Right through your yard?
Yeah. They just missed the power unit there and the mailboxes, thank God. But they hopped a curb east of my driveway and went through and down into Nancy's yard and out.
Bill,
It was a little icy that night.
I'm sorry, Dave. We had a number of neighbors ask me, and I don't know if is there still going to be a leaf pickup? Our neighborhood, they had the leaves out. The 16th, I think, was the scheduled pickup, and people are they going to get picked up?
Yeah, I did see an email from Pelletieri indicating that they were behind schedule with the pickup this fall. So they said just be patient with us. We're getting around to them.
Okay, good. Well, let my neighbors know. Appreciate it. Go ahead, Jim.
Bill, speaking of leaf pickup, we got calls from a couple of people about the use of contractors to pick up leaves from residents' lawn and not being able to take them over to the drop-off point. I just bring it up because it is something that we should probably be working on to see what we can do, at least look at it a little bit. And, Chad's been in the loop, but just to let the public know that it's a concern, which I think is valid, especially when you have some of our older, residents who can't really, pick them up and bag them themselves, and they're getting contractors. But just to let the public know that we are looking into this. We only got 2 calls this year, but I'm pretty sure it's going to spread as we use the license recognition system and everything else at the drop-off point.
Okay.
Thank you, Jim. Very good comment. Anything else for Bill? Okay. And we'll move on to agenda item 6 alpha, ordinance 2022-038, amending chapter 68, article 4, division 2, parking prohibited within town of Madison attachment area.
Excuse me, Dave.
Am I off?
Going through-
You're off.
Oh, I'm sorry. Agenda item 5 alpha first. I'm sorry, review items. So we have the review of the utility P card purchases for August of 2022. Do we have any questions on those? Give the board a minute to peruse those.
No questions on these, but Bill, while everyone else is looking, do we have a plan to kind of get caught up on these next month, or are we going to see a little bit of a backlog from September, October?
I'll double check on that.
Okay.
We'll get September, October next month for sure,
All right, excellent.
and November.
All right, want to get that all cleaned off the plate for next year.
Good point.
I just have one question for you, Bill. I understand the drug and alcohol test. I'm not concerned about the price of it or anything, but how often do you do that a year?
This was a pre-employment screening. This is pre-employment screening for a new employee, and it's required for entry into our work field. And but we do quarterly random drug screenings where everybody's in a pool, and we select 3 or 4 every quarter to go in for their screenings.
Okay, thanks.
Are these employees with CDLs?
Yeah, commercial driver's license.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Anything else? All right. Then we'll move on to, where I jumped the gun, Agenda Item 6 Alpha, Ordinance 2022-038, amending Chapter 68, Article 4, Division 2, parking prohibited within Town of Madison attachment area. Do we have a motion to approve?
So move.
Moved by Wheeler. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Granetsky. So this is dealing with the absorption of the Town of Madison, certain areas there. We'll have the parking prohibiting, we'll have signage prohibiting parking in certain areas. It's marked out on that, the map that was with the packet. Is that somewhat correct, Bill?
Yes, it's existing areas within the town of Madison that have no parking currently, and we have to codify that within our own code so that we can enforce it. It just didn't transfer over to us automatically.
Do we need to replace signs and everything then too?
We have been replacing some of the signs that were inconsistent with our signage.
Okay.
They said no parking, stopping, standing. We replaced them with no parking. They needed replacement, so yes.
Is that kind of in that area where we had a problem with somebody were parking out on the street from their apartments?
There are some areas, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So there's roughly 11 areas here is what I see on our map, I believe. Or maybe it's more, maybe 12.
And I'll assume that we haven't, since we absorbed the Town of Madison, we haven't had any requests to change this above and beyond anything. Okay.
No.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Call the vote. All in favor of the ordinance signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion opposed, motion carries. Thank you for taking care of that. I know there's a myriad of little things that eat up your time, so I appreciate you getting this taken care of. So next, let me page up again here. Sorry. Next on our agenda, we have item, my screen isn't working very well here. We have Resolution 6 Bravo, Resolution R-19522, approving maintenance services for well number 5. Do we have a motion to approve?
I move approval.
Moved by Wheeler, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Granetsky. So I think Mr. Wilborn and I remember well 5 fairly vividly. But at the time this was built, or when we drilled, I believe it was still the practice to dynamite to open up fractures. I don't believe that's done anymore. Am I correct about that?
That's correct.
Okay. So we've had, Bill, what is 5 on Lacey Road? Is that where?
5 is on McKee.
McKee, okay.
And Spoke.
All right. So we've had problems from the start, or I don't want to say problems, but we've had to take extra care. This we're going to pull the pump for maintenance. Do I understand other work? How are we opening up the fractures? Are we forcing air into the well? What's the process?
Yeah, there's a process where they introduce a high-pressure blast of air into the fractures, and it dislodges the sand or any sediment that's in there, and it drops it into the bottom. It's almost like a shotgun. It just blasts the air into that well, and then everything drops out from those fractures. We've also got a system in place. It used to be called AquaStream. Now it's called LamnaFlow. And it's basically what it is it's a PVC pipe with some slits in it, and it's also got some aggregate around it, and it smooths the water flow out so that we don't have a lot of agitation when the pumps kick on, and draw that water in, because that's what makes the sand released from the fractures and comes into our pumps and destroys those. So it just smooths out the draw of water coming into the pump. So that it doesn't wear the pumps out as fast. But we have noticed, a drop in the flow when it was our primary well, while well 4 was out of its when it was off, and when well 11 was off too. So it was drawing a lot more water, and we noticed that it was dropping off in flow, probably because we were drawing so much more from that. But it wasn't anything significant. It's just, it's time to get, it's in its maintenance schedule right now that we need to go and maintain that. So we are going to pull the pump, we're going to pull the aqua stream out, make sure everything is checked out there, do any repairs to the pump, and then put things back together. Bail out the sand that's in the well and in our reservoir that we have in there. But basically, we're going with this company because they have done the work on the well since 2005. They're familiar with the system, the aqua or the laminar flow system, and the test and the blasting, the air blasting that they do has really increased the flows from the past. So we're very confident with the workmanship, even though it is more than the low bid. We feel that this is the right call for this one just because of their experience and the experience we've had with this particular well.
There aren't any private wells in the vicinity of the area. You know, we drilled, wasn't this one, but we drilled one well, we ended up, there were still a few private wells around, and when we were, caused problems with the private wells when we drilled it, and I don't think there's any around here that when we're doing that air, you know, when we're trying to dislodge the sand, we're not gonna drive it or cause a problem in any private wells. I'm not aware of any right around that area. Are you?
I'm not aware of any either, and this particular well is, 700 feet deep, so we shouldn't be impacting the shallow wells that are typically drilled for homes.
Okay. All right.
You see, that's the one on McKee. There's two of them right off of McKee, isn't there? Two well.
No?
Sprockets?
Underneath, huh?
Which one?
I thought there was one by the old school too, or is that just a holding area? Off of McKee, that old school.
Spoken Sprocket.
Spoken Sprocket, there's a well there.
Yeah.
We've got well 4 that's off of Yarmouth Greenway, or is it? Yeah, it's Yarmouth Greenway.
Okay. But I think the only one that would have a private well anymore would be the old McKee house on McKee Road.
All right.
I don't know if they ever changed or not.
All right. So is this maybe, would it be fair to say maybe we accelerated a little bit due to the problems with the other well, that this might have gone another year?
No, I don't think so. We typically pull the wells every 5 to 6 years, and it's been 7, so it's time to get done.
Okay. All right. Better do it this time of year when we don't have the bigger demand too. All right. Any other questions on this? So I had one more. So we've had a budget for well maintenance that this is covered under. This isn't an emergency. We're going back to council. This is under.
Nope.
Okay. All right. No one has any other questions? All in favor of resolution R 19522 approving maintenance services for well number 5, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I just note on that one, that is not the low bid. So if there are questions on there, Bill explained pretty well why we wanted to go with that one. And our next Board of Public Works meeting is Monday, December 5th. If any of you can't make it, let me know. Otherwise, we'll plan on seeing you then. Or that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So move.
Moved by Granetsky, second by Wilborn. All in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned.
I'm going to be down